Math is hard.
Bro.
You should try
Bro.
learning some math.
Dude, fuck math. I've never been the one to just, bust out on some equations.
I wish I knew math.
Yo, I'm going to
better.
go home and do some calculus, guys.
That's the subject that dignifies everything. Everything is solved by math. You have a problem and you're
how
smart
practical is it for me to solve some of this stuff? I mean, really, think about it. Do I need
If
to
you
know
were
this?
smart enough, math would solve every single problem in your life. If you were that smart. Thing is, we don't know how to use all that math.
Basic math is good enough, okay? Basic math is like measuring stuff. Boom, basic math. That's 7th grade math.
See, if you
just need 7th grade math.
If we were to become astronauts, we would have calculus would have to be like a standard, because you'd have to learn how you being someone somewhere, which is being X, Y, and Z, being how far, wide, and deep you are in this area, and then Z in what time. That's how calculus is supposed to put all of the... You and I have learned geometry and algebra the most, which is X and Y. We've only gotten to 2D, 2D navigation.
I couldn't imagine 3D.
We haven't even learned how to handle 3D.
That's impossible.
And then to go into 4D, to be all right, now you need to figure out where this thing is going to be in this place within this time. If you get one of those things wrong, it's not right. You're not going there.
You'll be fucked if you mess that equation up.
So the way how they sent Voyager out into space is so crazy. They waited until the planets were not aligned or anything, but the way how their placement was is when they shot it out, right? This first target was the moon. And when it got to the moon, here, this is the moon, right? Its gravity got it and went zoom, and went like that, right? And it did that towards Mars. Zoom, and it did that again towards Jupiter, and then the math that had to be made for them to figure out how to slingshot it to a planet, to slingshot to another. They had to
calculate that planet.
They had to know where 7 different astrological bodies were all gonna be at X amount of time when this thing flung. And it's not like this thing was gonna go and go right to it. It's and take a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, the path too and shit. But
they had to figure that out before doing it. There was no all right, let's do a test run, and then we can judge how close we were. They had to figure it out.
But they have computer systems that kind of can do most.
They were doing this stuff with a computer system back. Voyager came out in 1976. Your cell phone could go in there and kick all of those computers' ass. If our computers can turn into fighting beings, that one thing would just decimate. It would just walk in like a 80s superhero, like Chuck Norris in a movie, and walk out with just nothing but blood on its hands. All those things were just calculators, just small ass, big ass calculators.
That's so. How the fuck did we throw people on the moon with that shit?
Math,
bro.
Someone out there had to know math. A group of people,
dude. And we would never think about flying that shit there.
Not without knowing all the math.
Well, no, I'm saying in general, if we had to given the same materials, I don't think we would try to build another spaceship to go to the moon. There's no way that we would never ever use that type of computing power again. Why is that?
I mean, we can outperform that, whatever we did last time. The last time we were at the moon was in the 60s.
But if we can send somebody to the moon off of that type of computing power, Why aren't we doing it more with the computing power that we have?
Because it costs a lot of fuel to get those fuckers out there. A lot of fuel. Okay, so I don't know how much fuel. First off, spoilers, it's a lot. But just think a cruise ship, right, is burning literally hundreds of gallons per foot it's moving in the water. And a rocket ship dwarfs that in comparison.
Yeah, fuck.
That's why we're not throwing shit up there left and right all the time.
Damn, that's expensive.
It's expensive.
Dude. Just for us to be doing that.
Just to be going out there.
That's ballsy. That's ballsy.
It takes a lot of energy to leave the atmosphere.
Dude. Why even do it? Why even bother?
Because this
Just
place,
fucking stay here.
This place sucks.
Just fucking stay, dog.
It's like,
We got a perfectly good planet here. Why are you trying to leave?
I want to go mess up another planet.
Nah, man. Fuck this one up. Let's continue fucking this one up. I think we should just stay here. We should make a law that says we can't leave for another 1,000 years.
You know, it's crazy to think what would happen. Like,
I bet you if we signed a law like that, we would instantly create a war 300, 400 years into the future. We're like, yeah, we have a right to leave this planet. And then people just start fucking fighting over it.
what's crazy is you'd look back 1,000 years and there's a lot of people living in squalor and stuff, but there's still like the Vatican. Like, there's still great architecture.
Yeah.
Crazy looking stuff. Like, do you think there's any masonry people who make stuff out of bricks and stone are anywhere close in comparison to the people back then? Maybe your average worker, but I mean maybe your elitist probably don't compete for the people back then.
What do you mean?
Okay. Look at all the chapels made during the Renaissance era.
Uh-huh.
All that stone. Look at the sculptures made out of granite, of silk, on skin.
Mm-hmm.
People don't do that today.
No, not at all.
That's hard.
People don't, but
I don't even think a robot has done that.
I don't know. Robots do a lot, though.
Robots do, but I haven't seen one like 3D etch a statue out of granite. I've seen them 3D print with plastic and a laser.
I think it's coming, dude. I think it's coming.
Probably because
give
that's
it
just
10
used-
years, bro. 10 years.
Maybe. But I mean, like, building a whole church. We just build a very symmetrical, plain, just like beige color box nowadays. Like, there's a few crazy architectures that's around here and there, but like back then, all those things were like, those were the OG Minecraft.
But like the thing
artists,
is,
like creating all these crazy sculptures and stuff.
the thing is though, like that stuff is so, I feel like it's dated because now we think of something, because we live in like, capitalism is a different way of like how we view building things and making things, and like we go for the quickest and cheapest way, you know. So if we're building a church, well, how soon can we get everybody in here? How soon can we do that? You know, like
I think it's just more of a matter of how dedicated, like, okay, the people who made that, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah, they were paid, but I'm pretty sure they were like, oh, this is for the Lord.
Yeah.
Bet your fucking ass I'm going to devote my life to make this as good looking as possible or something. I don't think we look at buildings like that anymore. Like, we're going to build a church. All right, we'll just make this building. Make sure there's AC, maybe Wi-Fi for some reason or something like that. I don't think it's like, all right, we're going to make the greatest building. I don't think we put value into the buildings like that anymore.
No, not at all.
I'm pretty sure there's a few architects that have stuff here and there, but it's not like in the name of. I think just back then, buildings were way more devoted for some type of purpose.
Yeah, I think they're. I don't know. Does
Like,
technology
what's the most newest building that like, oh my God, this fucking building. It's so crazy. Why?
the tall ass buildings?
The one in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, skyscrapers, the Burj Khalifa, shit like that. Where it's just
And it's just
fucking
it's just a point.
Whoa,
big.
that's what
Its shadow is 50 miles
I feel like that's
long.
the trend though in like architecture over the past like maybe 150 possibly 200 years.
And I mean that building's cool because like it has different. It starts thick and gets thin, but the way how it thins out is, I imagine, very well thought out.
Yeah.
Why it thins out in one section and in another, maybe for wind resistance or something. But like, other than that, what is it?
Dude.
It's a fucking point.
I want to go all the way to the top.
Just jump off.
We should just just do that. Just jump off.
It's probably so tall that it actually gets wide enough to the point you'd actually probably hit the building before you hit the ground.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Unless you like were able to launch yourself.
No, I think you start going down before people think you can go and just like a paper airplane. But eventually you do just go like you just go straight down no matter how far you kick off.
I
like,
definitely think you have.
You're not like a flying squirrel to
I believe you could do it if you had so much conviction in the jump. You can't go.
I think no.
Whoa!
I think
Like,
the only way you could do that is if you had.
You gotta swan dive off of the Burj.
I think the only way is if you had like 30 feet of rope, preferably more, but you had it tied off and you just ran off and just.
I'm sure maybe, okay, maybe if not at the very top to jump off, there is a point where you can jump off and it's still pretty fucking tall and you won't hit anything on the way down as it gets bigger. Even if you did hit something though, you're fucked, bro. Even
It's
if
gonna hurt.
Damn, dude. Was it like just boing. Have you ever seen a video of someone jumping off of a fucking building?
I watched 9/11.
I'm talking like,
Yeah, those people were jumping out of those buildings.
well, yeah, but you didn't hear nothing.
You mean watch someone land?
You saw
Because the
you saw
skyline
this.
blocked off.
I'm talking. Have you seen like? And that's what it sounds like. And like, dude, the one video that I saw, just it. And it was fucking. And I read the reason of why it happened. And it is pretty fucking bad, bro. It is. It's fucking.
Go on.
I don't even know if I should share this. Well, fuck it anyway. It was I guess it was off of World Star. It was just some video of a person just jumping off of a building, kicking the can, just because they walked in on his. Who was it? It was someone was cheating on somebody, but it was a parent and the other person. I think it was like the wife and the father of the dude.
Ugh.
And he saw it. He walked in and then he was just like, "Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna hit restart."
Damn.
Just.
We've talked earlier
cold.
how we would want to go.
It's cold.
And the thing is like falling from a height, it depends on how high that is. On how, like, if you fell out of an airplane, you can at least like savor the moment.
I heard people
feel that like, oh, I'm falling. This is it. But falling out of a building, you only have enough time to be like, this is.
Oh my god!
So like,
I heard you get time to think when you jump off of the Golden Gate.
Yeah. The people who have survived, they've had instant regret, like within the moment their feet left off. I'm pretty sure it's fight or flight, just taking immediate effect. Like they've had these thoughts for so long, but just you can't help but fight instinct. Just that, it's a reflex, I imagine, and that's coming directly from your spine. That's not a conscious thought. So just immediately when you do it, you're just gonna be like. So that's why like that's such a very topsy-turvy way to go out. If you go out through an airplane though, you at least have time to commit. You do that jump, you may have that but you just know you're gonna have enough time to be like.
Well, but see, the thing is, I don't know, will it hurt?
Depending on how high it is. I'm pretty sure if it's that high, you're probably not going to feel anything.
You don't think so? You don't think you'll feel anything?
Not unless you decide to, like, pencil dive and you land feet first, so you just...
just accordion. Just... Look like a penguin at the end of that.
Man, I have thought like,
dude,
going out like that would be a way to go. But like, just the more you think about all those things, there's always like this, like,
Imagine cleaning that shit up.
Yikes!
Fuck. How much do those people get paid?
Is it the same people that do roadkill, you think?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Absolutely
just a
not.
corner. It's like a corner office.
I've no clue.
That would be.
I just know that shoveling a skunk off the side of the freeway is not compared to picking up a body out of a fucking
it's too psychologically traumatic.
That's fucking heinous, bro. That's some fucking heinous shit. Imagine I watched this one thing of this embalmer. It was like answering questions and shit. Apparently he digs in your junk, bro.
Yeah.
He's gotta get you naked.
They have to get everything.
He's gotta put some shit up your butt. He's gotta do some shit to your eyes.
Yeah, he'll put these lids that have like these claws that grab on your eyelids,
dude.
So you don't open them up.
Oh fuck, dude, that's so. I mean, I guess you're dead, but fuck.
What does it matter? You're dead.
I guess it's just like scary, dude. It's scary because I've heard
the scary part is already done.
No, it's scary because I've heard of people waking up like just and just like. And then just like actually dying. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. I've never been lucky enough to.
Man, imagine
if that
the
happened.
difference of being an embalmer today from the past. Imagine it's a big difference.
Dude.
Big difference.
Fuck. Dude, that's such a gross job.
That's probably,
and they don't really get paid that much.
That's probably a job though that like there's a lot of people who fear like robots will take over and take over a lot of jobs and whatnot. I imagine that's still going to be a job that we as people wouldn't want to pass over. Like a robot, I imagine could do it if they advanced up to the point.
They got to be like humanoid.
But
almost.
We got robots in the medical field.
Well, like they got to be able to like assess something and say, okay, this may not be the best way to go about it. I may have to try this method. Like it needs to have that type of thinking.
I don't know how far we are right now, but definitely they are looking at that concept with robots already.
Really?
Like, they already have robots in medical field.
I mean, because I guess it's just like
I mean, they have to have that type of principle already to be doing something that important, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they just like program a fucking set of like, all right, just give everyone a shot of penicillin whenever. Here you are administrated.
You are administrated. You are administrated.
And then a lollipop just shoots out.
No, it dispenses out, just drops out the bottom of the machine. You're supposed to grab it.
And then a receipt just.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
But yeah, I see that that's a occupation that would still be reserved for humans.
For a while.
I think it's because we still have a respect for the dead. And even people who aren't even religious or anything, like, have a universal, like,
that's true.
Let's not disparage or disrespect the deceased. Well, I think for some reason we have that very gripped.
As long as it's new, people of religious backgrounds are going to look at that and think, well, I don't know how I feel about it, so let's just keep doing it the old-fashioned way for right now, which is...
Well, tradition is just that. It's just keeping it the old-fashioned way for
let's
now.
just keep it that way because I don't know how I feel about it.
But, no, I mean, like, just, like trucks. That's definitely going to be something that...
Oh, that's automated as fuck. 10 years, dude.
You know, fast food workers, like, that's already a concept that they're working on right now. But, like, I think as more and more things get taken over, that's something else.
What new jobs do you think are going to come in? What's like the...
Definitely, like...
What's the new shoe polisher?
Well, I think as more time goes on, it's going to be, like, figuring out how... I think it'd be manufacturing, probably.
Yeah.
Like, what's your job? Oh, I make those robots that make everything for us. I make certain parts. Did you know Angie's mom actually helped manufacture parts for one of the rovers that went to Mars?
Interesting.
Like, you know, it's not like scientists are making the actual parts, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just random people, manufacturers that make it. They just get special orders that are made in X amount of dimensions. It's just someone else just cutting that out of a template, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's probably what the new age jobs would be. It's just like, you need to start making things that make everything for us. Or program it if you want to do that.
Yeah, I think programming might, like, turn into a new...
Sure, but I think blue collar is still going to be a very dominant workforce. And if they're going to get taken over by a lot of other things, then the thing that's going to take over, that's going to open up for that is making what took your job, I guess. What do you make? Oh, I make cylinders and pistons for this crazy ass fucking steampunk robot that walks around and, like, makes deliveries. I don't know, but, like,
it could be. You could be like a maintenance technician for like Postmates and just like all their little robots that wheel around. You could be the guy that checks them. They come to your office for some maintenance. You get a little walkie-talkie. And, CB30 is fucking stuck.
But then, like, how well are we to get with maintenance to the point it's not like everyone needs to be one? Like, what would be the next thing?
Well, we're definitely like a service economy. We've always been a service economy for like a very long time. So I kind of feel like service is always going to be the, you know, I don't think a robot can really replace a waiter per se at certain places. I mean, maybe at like an Applebee's, I'm pretty sure, but like, you know, when you're going to
like a high-end Michelin restaurant,
you're never going to get rid of waiters.
You're going to want the human experience.
You're going to want humans. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
Because humans that do it really good are better than robots, in my opinion.
Well, that's what we say for now.
Well, because they have personality and they're a real person, so you can't replace that real person feel for something like that.
That's what you say for now.
I mean, like, we're not going to have movies with robots in. I mean, we'll have movies probably with robots in them eventually, I guess, but we're never going to totally replace
What if in 150
robots.
years from now, we're going to start having protests because we're not treating robots human enough because they have that advance of an AI that they should be able to choose what job they want.
Robosexuals, bro.
Robophiles.
I want to.
Robophile.
Yeah, someone who fucks a toaster.
That's kind of dangerous.
Dude, I bet you there's going to be some robosexuals in the future. And that's going to be really sad.
Well, there's already a very, very, very advanced sex robots, like sex dolls.
I'm talking people who believe that robots are their companion.
Didn't you see that movie that
That
Joaquin
Her?
Phoenix?
Yeah. No, I have not seen it, but it's on my list. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's on my list as well, but I do know the concept and like
It sounds very interesting as fuck.
it's something that could happen.
Yeah.
Easily could happen. Look at how we are living right now in this pandemic, going in and out of socialization. I mean, to us, it's it's an inconvenience. To other people, it's enraging and all that, blah, 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 blah. But imagine you're like a teenager growing up, like trying to get your social like life developed. Yeah. It's time for me to start going out there, meeting people and all that, but you're stuck spending a year like, and then what if this goes on for several years, and then like there's a bunch of people who haven't been out, don't know how to talk. Right. There's probably like, I guess we'll develop to start talking through Skype or whatever, but it won't be the same as interacting like in a bar. Like,
yeah.
Maybe social life would even change after that or something. I don't know.
I have no clue. I feel like you're always going to have that population of people that are just going to still go out. There's still so many people that go out.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get rid of it.
It's not like this has gotten to like the plague level.
See, the thing is with technology, it only replaces things that were mundane at the time that they were able to fix. Like before, well, I was going to say toilet paper, but like, even like.
But now they're just doing like GPS.
Yeah.
Like there's people today who would not be able to go anywhere without it.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Can't read
a
map.
You can even throw them a map and they'll be like.
They have absolutely no idea what to do on a map.
And that's not a mundane thing. That's a pretty essential at this point. I think the advancement of technology has created new essentials.
Yeah.
Like new essentials. Like there's things people in the past probably didn't even worry, not even a bit about. I think we're constantly like, oh my God.
I think literacy is more important today than it ever has been.
Oh, for sure, literacy.
Because you need to be able to read in order to operate technology.
Reading time, the concept of time.
Yeah.
Back then, you could just kind of do whatever, whenever.
It's just like, sundown.
You just need to get this done by, For us, there's so many things that need to be done by a certain minute.
Yeah.
Before this hour. And stuff like that.
Dude. Fucking technology. Technology, dog. It's the way of the future. When are we getting flying cars? When is that happening?
So people always say stuff about that, and I'm like,
the fuel's got to be crazy. That's why it's not around.
We're never gonna get flying cars.
That's so fuel inefficient. That's gonna be 100 years.
Have you heard a drone take off? A little drone.
Yeah, it's like.
Now imagine it takes you off.
Have you seen a jet take off?
Yeah, like everyone thinks like it's just not gonna happen. They're gonna be too loud. There's no way to get us to silence until we get anti-gravity fucking. Like, there's no way we're gonna have flying cars. What I'm looking for is where's the car that runs on water? and solar.
Isn't that a boat?
I mean, I guess it does run on water. Congratulations.
Dude, I gotta tell you about this. What happened to me at last night? Went to a show, and it was a pretty good show.
Where?
It was at the Holy Diver. It was a foreign.
Oh, on like K Street.
Yeah, it was a foreign affair, younger. Perfect thing, no, perfect score. I forgot the other band. Lost Things. There was one more other guy. I don't know who it was, but dude, this one guy came up to me, and dude, I almost got in a fight with him. And like,
Well, you were in SAC, so.
and so it was like he had his drink. Okay, so he had his alcoholic drink, and he came up to me, and he was like trying to get me to drink from it, and it was like really too close to my face. But not only that is like, I don't know this guy at all. Like, I've never seen him a day in my life. So, and he was obviously a little intoxicated, so he's a little bit more social. And he was just putting his fucking shit way too close to me. I was like, dude, no, I'm good. Thank you. And like, kept doing it. I was like, dude, stop. And like, he just was so persistent. And then he kept like, hey man, I'm just trying to be your friend. And I was like, bro, I like, not right now. Like, this isn't how you do it. Like, go try it with somebody else. Like, I'm not on your level. You know what I mean? Like, we're not on each other's level right now. And so he kept like just touching me, and then he got like a little aggressive, and he was like, hey man, I'm just trying to be friends with you. And he put his hand on my chest and kind of like pushed. It was like a little aggressive. And like, before he can pull his hand away, I swatted it. And then I just like, I kind of yelled at him. And I was like, I won't give that energy here, but I was like, dude, back the fuck up. And like, he was just like, okay. And then I looked at the security guard and I was like, yo, you got to come get this guy. And so the security guard got him and he left. And then we start enjoying the show, get a few songs in, and the guy comes back to me. And he just like, and my arms are folded because I'm like closed off. Like, I'm not having it. And he like fist bumps like my arms. And then I get so pissed. So then I like walk up to him and I was like, dude, back the fuck up. And like, I don't know. He backed up after that and he was hella cool. And then other people saw us and they commented and they're like, man, that guy's out of hand and stuff. And so then at the end of the show, one of the people came up to me and they were like, dude, you know that guy that was giving you a hard time? I was like, yeah. And he's like, my friend beat the shit out of him outside. And I was like, really? He was pulling the same shit outside. And so he just decked him, and the dude just like, and just fell over. He got fucked up. It was fun. It was a good time. It was a good time last night.
Can't handle their alcohol.
Yeah, dude. Some people just really can't handle their alcohol. You know, it's just, I hate, dude. And it was weird because like, I kind of feel like as of lately, people have been trying to fuck with me. And I don't know why, but every time I go,
that face.
Every time I go out, dude, somebody wants to fuck with me, and I have no clue why. I have like
face.
I have so many friends that are so clean, and people are so nice to them and so pure, and then when someone sees me, they're just like,
fuck that
yo, dude, what can I get away with this guy? And I have absolutely no clue why. I could not tell you. I just get into so many altercations as of the.
And where are they all at?
They're out and about. Like
Where?
sometimes they happen at like my job. Sometimes they happen at like when I'm like at the bar. You know, I get it all the time when I'm DJing. All the time, dude. And that's what I was telling. I was with my friend Matt, and he was like, you know, he was kind of like, oh, okay, with the guy. He was like fist bumping him, and I was like, dude, do not engage with that behavior, because then because I worked at a dive bar for a while, and like when you engage in that behavior, because they see you giving them a positive reinforcement on that behavior, they're going to continue doing that behavior with you, because you're the only one in the club that's giving them that positive reinforcement. And so that's why I was like, dude, don't engage with him. Just let him be, or like, you know, just like scuff him off, you know, kind of be a dick, you know, and like, I don't know where I was going with that. I got too heated. But anyway, people are trying.
Simmer down.
Dude, people are trying to fuck with me. I have no clue why.
It's because
I'm ugly.
You're a fucking
It's because I'm
asshole.
ugly, bro, isn't it? It's not because of that. I feel like there's like some prejudice towards me, but it's over a characteristic that I have that I'm totally not aware of. Do you ever feel that way sometimes?
No.
Like I never think it's because of the color of my skin.
A lot of people could think that they know me from somewhere else, and either that or they actually do know me because of my name. I feel like my look is as if whoever created me just used the character preset number 1 and didn't do any customization.
Just
because like there's a lot of people who show me like doppelgangers online. I have a lot of doppelgangers.
I get that sometimes.
Like a lot of people show shit of people who look like me.
Yeah.
And then you've seen pictures of me. I could put on different outfits and completely change my look.
Yeah.
Pretty easily. I don't know. I get like that kind of different effect. The opposite effect of that. I blend pretty well.
Dude, I don't know why I stand out. I hate it.
Or probably because you're so fucking tall.
I think that's the other thing. I think just because I'm tall, it's like a natural conversation piece for people to be like, oh, I can totally engage with them because I have something to say. And like, dude, it's so funny because like I'll go out and people say the same thing to me every single time.
How tall are you?
No, it's like, oh, how tall are you? Or I know you get this a lot, but, and like I get I know you get this a lot, like a fucking lot, dude. It happened. It was so funny because like
more than the point itself.
Because some like person bumped into me. And I was like, oh, excuse me. And he's like, man, how did I not see you? You're so tall. And then like we laughed about it. And he goes, I'm sorry. I bet you get that a lot. And then I laughed. And then I like faced the stage. And literally a girl comes up to me, puts her foot next to mine. And then I was like, I look up at her. And she's like, yo, you're just so tall. I bet you get that a lot. And it was so funny because they both said the same thing, didn't even know who each other were, and they said it within seconds of each other. And it's like I get the same thing. It's like I feel like I'm living in a simulation of like just the same compliment that's given to me over and over and over again, over just how my body naturally is.
Have you ever been teased for being tall?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Really?
Back in middle school, yeah.
I always hear people saying they've been teased for being tall. I'm like, how is that like a tease?
It is when you're in middle school and you're like, you know, because there's a difference between being tall and then freakishly tall. You're a freak. Like, bro, you look weird. You're not natural. You know? So it's like a totally different thing. So, yeah. But I mean, like, no one's ever said that. I mean, you know, people have like cracked jokes about my height, but I mean, it's never been like, it's always been like kind of complimentative, you know, or like genuinely funny.
See, with me,
But no one's like, you tall fuck.
See, with me being 5'9", literally the average height of a human being.
Damn.
I've never
so average.
I've never heard anyone call me short or tall ever. I've never had anyone. I've had people taller than me walk by or talk about height, and they never look like they'll look down at me and not call me short. Like,
yeah.
No one has ever called me short. No one's ever called me tall.
You should be so proud of being average.
I am. I'm just like average. I'm across the board.
I feel like that's just.
I have Mario stats.
That's just as uncommon as being unique. I feel like is being just incredibly like the average height, the average weight, the average like look, the average amount of hair. You know what I mean? Like you don't grow an abnormally large amount of hair on your body. That I
feel like
of.
if I grow my hair out as
but
much
you have
as
a
I
beard.
could, I'd just look like a caveman from any different time.
Yeah, you could look like a Neanderthal.
Like I could look like any different thing.
Damn. That's actually really impressive. That's like a great. I feel like that's a tremendous trait. Just like being tall. I feel like that's just as special as being tall, as being like incredibly like down in the middle.
I think people who actually, if people think that they're average or whatever, I think they actually should be actually okay with that, because like, I mean, standing out is I guess looking for validation if you're looking for that. But I mean, if you're average, then you should, at least you know you're playing on such an average field, or you know what I mean, like.
And some people don't require that validation at all, but I mean, I don't know, standing out, sometimes it gets you in trouble though. Sometimes people just don't like your ass, you know.
There's always to be someone who doesn't like you.
There's always gonna be someone.
There's always that person. There's no way you can. There's no way you can please everyone,
dude. And it's like. It's always random. Like it's never one type of person. It's always like that one type of girl that comes up and fucks with me. It's that one type of dude that just comes and fucks with me. It's just like different every single time. And it's just like people don't like you. They just don't like you. I feel like I'm an easy target too. I'm easy to spot.
Do you think bullying is actually more of a thing nowadays than it was back then? And by back then, I mean our parents' time, our grandparents' time, and then going back to like our ancestors' time.
I have absolutely no clue. I will say though that bullying takes many shapes, and I kind of feel like there are certain types of bullying that don't seem like they're bullying, but they are, like in its nature and shit. So, like, I don't know. Just comes in different forms. I just don't think it's that, hey, punk.
Giving them swirlies and shit.
Loser. I don't think it's that shit no more.
No?
Give me your lunch money.
You think it's just Twitter hating?
I think it's Twitter hating. I think it's mobbing, dude. It's straight up mobbing. If you're that type of person that's vindictive enough to look at your local community and be like, hey, let's fucking take care of this person. They said this, and then just dog pile.
Cancel culture.
Yeah, but there's still some bullying though. There's still some good old classic.
Yeah, but like bullying in the like people bully through cancel culture now. Like
that's true. I feel like we're getting so much smarter with our fucking bullying. You know. Well, you said this and and so I'm allowed to react like this. You know, and it's just like, you know, it's just kind of like. But that's just like adult bullying. I don't know. Like high school bullying, I think it's different, you know? There's like a lot of people that will make fun of you for being different.
Yeah, that's always going to be a thing, but I feel like as time goes by, that's going to be less and less practical of a topic to bully someone with. Because back then it was like, oh, you're different because of just like maybe race or sexual orientation. But now these days, like that's becoming more of a norm.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so what's the word, when different ethnicities like have a kid, we're so mixed at this point. It's like that's almost like that's
interracial.
Almost like, yeah, we're so interracial. Like at this point, is like that's kind of a dumb thing to make fun of someone.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, what? And you're fucking trying to keep the bloodline pure. You're inbred, like, you know what I mean? Like it's an easy retort at this point if someone bullies you that way. Definitely for sure, sexual orientation is something that needs to like go through some more like, I don't know, development or whatever, because there's definitely like people bullying people that still, but I don't think it's like as openly like back then. You can like make fun of someone for being gay in the middle of public in the 80s and no one would bat an eye,
and people would,
maybe a few good souls would be like, stop making fun of him or something like that. But now today, if you dropped, now today there's a second F-bomb, and if you drop that in certain places,
you're done.
You got a bunch of people mopping
you're getting
up
fired.
on you.
You're getting fired, you know?
So
you
like,
lose your shit. You can get kicked off of a football team too, you know?
So like there's definitely some change going on for bowling for sure.
Yeah. You know, that is if people believe in the people that are accusing bullies too, which I think like that's a huge issue, is that people just accuse people of things, and like people's natural inclination is to just fucking protect the accused for some reason, because there's no possible way that person did something wrong.
I don't know. There's always going to be two sides to a story.
There definitely is.
And you know, a lot of people think that there shouldn't on some things, and yeah, I feel like so, but I think that's just the balance of things. There has to just be two sides to a story.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be universally accepted, I guess, but like that's just the only way to keep, I don't know, point A from point B from happening, I guess. I don't know.
People just fucking motherfucking people, man. Motherfucking people. They out here. People overall are just pieces of shit.
Yeah.
God, we're awful. I mean, but look what else is out there.
You know, how many other species looks at their own in disgust? How many dogs, how many bears, how many bugs are like, man, there's too many of us.
I think we're the first species to do that.
You know, I think we're really fucked up by doing such a good job.
Damn, that's a good point.
No other animal has looked at each other and was like, maybe we should slow down.
We should stop. Maybe we should be nicer, guys.
Like, you know, we all know that humanity has gone through some pretty hard times, like, throughout history. Multiple times. But I don't know if it's just because we're more opinionated and able to get our opinion out there. Yeah. But I feel like there's so many more people who are doom and gloom. Like, man, this world sucks. Or, like, you know, the world's bad. Why am I even here? There's a lot of doomers. There's a lot of doomers being born when, like, were there a lot of people with that type of mentality back in the bubonic plague, or were they just like, we just got to keep going. We just got to keep moving. Like, we just got to get up every next day.
What's it like living during the bubonic plague, dude?
Scary. Just knowing next door, there's probably someone who's dying and
or who's
touch
dead.
him. Who's dying or dead, but nonetheless, if you go over there and interact with him, then you're next.
Yeah.
Like, they understood it was contagious. They didn't know how they were getting it or whatever, but they just knew if I got sick with it, we don't fuck with him anymore.
And they thought putting some fucking, I don't know, biscuits in a little cup that, like, down a nose so that they could smell better scents. They thought that shit was, like...
they had something on the miasma theory or something.
Like, and that's such a dumb fucking thing to think about. Like, that's so fucking stupid. Like, imagine going down in history of being so fucking stupid during, like, the worst pandemic ever. Is just like, yo, I think I'll be protected if I throw some lavender in a fucking, like, gas mask.
But I imagine someone explaining to them made them go like, oh shit, like that makes sense. Like, someone probably was telling them like, hey, everything that's affected with this smells
like
bad.
Smells like shit.
What if we just have something that smells hella good? And it'd be like, I can't fuck with that. Hey.
And then once they just invented soap, it was like, oh fuck, it's done.
It's hard to make fun of on that. I can't defend Salem. Like, they're just witch, but like but for someone like that, like, oh, maybe rose petals would stop it. Like, in hindsight, yeah, it's
dumb as fuck.
But like, I guess when like you don't have any info at all, that's like someone looking at you like saying, hey man, my quantum computer is broken, can you fix it? And you're like,
have you tried getting the hammer?
Like, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on? They'd be like, it's a quantum computer, it's always on and off or something, you know what I mean? And they just call you out as being the dumbest person ever. Like,
oh, dude. Oh, man.
That sounds like something. When always be on.
When were other times where we were just dumb as fuck?
I think that's just throughout history.
The Dark Ages was pretty dumb as fuck. It's like one dumb thing. I feel like the whole Martin Luther story is just fucking dumb.
I think it's funny. So like, we always think like people back then were dumb and whatnot, but it's like we're only basing what we know off of the knowledge we've learned from others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So of course all those people are dumb because they don't have a book here that's explaining.
They don't have video.
How to understand fundamental dynamics of theoretical fucking physics and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
Like, they're just learning how to survive and whatnot. But I imagine if you were to pluck one of those people here, if they didn't have a psychological break, they were able to withstand that and just be like, wow, this is the future and it's fucking crazy. And someone's like, would you like to learn how to cope here? I imagine giving them enough time, they can become just like us, just a person. Mm-hmm. I truly wonder how much we've changed, like, you know, on a physical and mental level. Because like, look at people on TikTok today. You look at them and you're like, these people are fucking
dumbasses.
Fuck.
They're just a bunch of head asses.
But they're here today, living in the day of
TikTok.
Literally the age of information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to
We've always had dumb fucks, though.
Yeah.
We've always had dumb fucks just throughout history. It's just, you know, the regular slum of people that only consume media, that only fucking indulge in their senses.
Just those head asses.
Just like nobody, like the people that don't have a drive to make things, that don't have a drive to learn, that don't have a drive to expand their mind, and they just fucking exist and just use rudimentary tools to express themselves in a fucking lackluster way. and then they die and they're forgotten.
No, they're not necessarily forgotten.
They're remembered as a whole.
Because they're remembered because those are the people who produce the most. They got a lineage.
Yeah.
Idiocracy is like a documentary for an event that hasn't happened yet.
You know, I truly believe that the smartest people of our human race
Has come and went.
has never. The smartest people of times, we don't know about them. I feel like the truly intelligent people that like really.
What do you measure for intelligence?
Awareness over what's going on. But like, I don't know.
Like, there's so many smart people in
I mean,
history that
obviously
done dumb
Socrates
stuff,
was a
too.
lot smarter than the average person. So I'm sure that there was a Socrates
But he also willingly died for talking about essentially nothing. Yes, people can go down in history as saying that these are the most very important words of existential thought and whatnot, but like, you know, he could have just like bummed over to the next town and talked about it. No, he wanted to talk about the concept of concept so badly that they're like, here, you need to drink this. It's poisonous. And we're telling you that because we just fucking hate you that
we
much.
can't stand you, dog. You talk too
And
much.
he understood that and still drank it. So like, where would you put that in intelligence? Intelligence is a very colorful, very
It's so
fluid.
fucking weird.
Thomas Edison electrocuted an elephant just to prove a point, and his point lost because he was trying to prove that AC was better than DC currents. And what do we use today, mostly?
I have no clue.
DC, you know, like the volt. They're DC.
Oh.
Direct currents instead of alternating currents. I mean, we still use them both, but like the dominant one is the one that came from a man who didn't have to electrify an elephant to prove how dangerous the other one was. Like, why did he kill an elephant just to prove a symbol? Like, sure, I guess like you could have used a dog, but why even kill something when you could have just like burnt wood or something? Or you know what I mean?
It's because they were fucked up back then.
There's a couple CEOs that I remember.
I heard, isn't Thomas Edison just a rotten person? I have no clue.
I'm not sure.
Didn't wasn't he the one that stole from Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, that's what I heard. He pushed over Nikola Tesla.
Damn, dude. Nikola Tesla,
another great genius, is been sought to believe from many people, almost confirmed at this point, that he had a deep love and affection for a pigeon.
What?
Mm-hmm. Like, he loved this thing like a wife. Pigeon.
Did he?
I don't know what he did with it, with the said thing, but like, he was more devoted to that bird than any woman.
I think you kind of have to. I think that's okay.
You think it's okay to?
Do you think if he fucked a bird, do you think all of his shit would just be like? We would do that nowadays, though. We would do that. If it came out that Neil deGrasse Tyson was fucking like a fucking pig or something like that, we would take him off the fucking grid. We would kill him out.
Yeah.
You know. I don't
think they said anything like
listen,
he fucked the bird, but like no, like he.
Yeah,
it was his fucking wife. Like,
yeah.
Oh, hey there, little bird, and probably kissed its beak, and then just like read the paper with it just right by.
I'm sure that bird didn't know who the fuck that dude was. He feeds me. This is the safest place I can go.
But as I was saying, like, intelligence is a very colorful thing. I know quite a few people. I've heard of quite a few people that I have looked at as like smart individuals, smarter than me, doing something that I'm like, why are you so dumb?
Einstein divorced his wife and married his cousin because she was more into like preparing his meals and doing everything for him while he worked, because he was so dedicated to his work that he had to marry his cousin, who was like 15 years younger than him. And it was so bizarre, but like we don't give a fuck because he's such a fucking genius.
Yeah.
It's so weird that geniuses have just that one
they have
weird
that
ass
mental they have that mental hiccup.
Fucking thing, dude.
Like,
that
damn,
just
that dude's off, but he's a genius.
Why is that? Like, what do I got to do to get that level?
Dedicate something so hard that you go crazy, I guess.
Like, do I gotta start sticking my dick in a beehive in order for me to produce the next fucking Thriller album? Because I'll do it if I got to, bro. I'll do it if I got to. If I want to be the next PewDiePie, hell yeah, dude. I'll fucking I'll make out with a tree every day for the next 10 years to be the next PewDiePie.
You better be careful what you're saying on the internet. Watch this timestamp come up 10, 15 years later, and it's what everyone wants. All of a sudden, you get this blow up, and it's like this demand for that. People nowadays really need to watch what they say. Like back then, that's a luxury. Back then,
oh yeah,
you could
say whatever's on your mind.
Fuck you wanted, and not even care if no one was around. Then
you could say racist things on the internet back then too. Like I'm talking back in the 2000s,
10 years ago or something like that. 10, 20 years ago,
it was totally okay to say the N-word on social media as a white person.
Can people bring up AOL Messenger snapshots?
Oh
at this
God,
point?
no, yeah.
There's some hidden stuff there that a lot of people can got away with, but I mean, like nowadays, you got to even make sure that the room you're in doesn't have the right microphones and camera settings.
Yeah,
it's turning into 1984.
Yeah, you got to make sure no one's like fucking outside in the hallway walking by while you scream something.
It's weird how we are actually at a time where we can share our opinion more than ever, but at the same time, it comes with more consequences.
Yeah, dude.
Back then, people were just like, "Oh, bite your tongue!" Like, don't.
No, I'm gonna say what's on my mind.
And then there's his head on a spike.
There's always been massive consequences for speaking your mind. There's just always has been. There's never been a time where you can speak your mind without
sometimes a lot worse than others.
I think right now is pretty bad, but dude, imagine the dark ages when you're like, yeah, dude, fucking God isn't real. You're toast, dog. You're done for. You're done skis. You ain't walking out of that room. No. If you said that to your parents back in the fucking 1200s, dude, your parents would disown you. Your parents would run and tell the government, and the government would fucking kill you.
It's crazy how actually, now thinking about it, we're more sensitive. I think back then, so yeah, going against the church, very radical thing to say, very sensitive matter, because that's like a concept. I think now today, it's like, it's the same thing, except it's not all pooled into just this one thing, but more against every individual opinion on every, like, you can piss off anyone by just making a statement about anything.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a certain race or certain religion.
It doesn't even have to be that.
Everyone has that access to talk about it.
It doesn't even have to be that. You could talk about sports.
Opinion on a movie.
Yo, I think LeBron James is much more superior at basketball than Michael Jordan.
You could talk about
it, and boom, you already got people.
You could talk about who would kick whose ass in comics.
Oh yeah.
Like it gets, you can go down to the very finite.
Dude,
arbitrary.
we're down to just fucking fight all the time.
Yeah.
We are such a fucking rough, tough country, dude. We're always just wanting to fight.
You know what's funny is I thought, like, wouldn't it be cool cool if there was this news station that came out, but all the news is just good news. Not a single bad article on the, like, there's Fox, there's CNN, and then there's just this other one.
You know, Good Day Sacramento, and like
not that shit.
You know, they report on like, oh hey, we have a car fair. Oh, it's the
no. I mean, like, it's news, like either locally or across the world or internationally, but it's all news, all very important stuff, but it is all good news. Do you think that will eventually be, ever since news stations realize, oh hey, bad news gets more views?
What's good news though? What do you consider good news?
A medical discovery, a rescue, what?
So the reason why I asked that is like, just say, okay, let's just say Palestine is liberated. That sounds like good news, right?
I mean,
but then we have that whole alliance with Israel, so a lot of people would find that to be bad news as well.
I'm not sure if this is a news station that's going to involve politics.
Okay. So absolutely no politics?
Okay, name a type of politic movement. Name an event in politics that was universally praised. Name one.
But I mean, some of the good stuff.
I mean, just name one. Name one.
Everything
This sounds like a very political answer. Can you just give me one?
Well, I'm just saying, like, when we fixed Jim Crow laws, a lot of people were not happy about it. So, like, I don't think you could talk about any politics because someone's gonna have some type of way about it.
I mean, politics is only supposed to be a chunk of the news anyways. You got your weather, you got your sports, you got your local news, international news.
I don't think it's that simple, dog.
Are you just saying that the world is inherently this fucked?
I'm just saying, why even watch the news if it's not bad news, though? Really?
So you only want to be updated on bad stuff. So there is this condition called like doomsday syndrome. And that is for people. It is a condition specifically for people who watch the news a little too much. If you notice, people who watch the news too much, they're a little on edge. Name someone who is always on the news. You know, there's that old man in the family that you go to their house and every day they're just on their recliner watching CNN or Fox just constantly. Yeah. That person is on edge. Doesn't matter what their political viewpoint is. It's just doom and gloom. When the pandemic started fresh and everyone all of a sudden was like, maybe we should watch the news, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was scared and depressed.
Yeah.
Doomsday syndrome is when people watch the news too much and the news focuses on bad news. And thus, when you watch too much bad news, you start to inherently have more anxiety and depression.
I think you have to have some sort of awareness, but
it sounds like you're only wanting to validate that as being news.
Well, like, okay,
how come not
also
a scientific
news isn't the only type of shit that I watch, though. So I'm not gonna sit there and watch like, oh, a puppy got rescued. Oh, this couple got married. Oh,
who said a couple getting married? That's
I don't
not
know.
News.
I don't know.
Then let me explain it for you. How about a medical discovery? Right? How about that?
Okay.
How about like a new area getting added or something, like some type of like
okay, I
structure.
can understand that, but that's not news. That's infotainment. That's something complete. I feel like that's something
medical discovery.
Medical discovery is pretty spot on. Yeah.
Scientific marvels. How many times do you hear in the news
a publishing of something? But like,
yeah.
I mean that would be cool, but that's like, I don't know. I don't know. That would be cool though. I'm just thinking like I don't know.
From the sounds of it sounds like you're
like
conditioned
a hiker.
to think,
Like, are
this
you
is my
talking about like a
perspective.
hiker that just got rescued or something like that? Is that good news?
What sounds like to me is you've been conditioned to think that news is only inherently fucked up situations, and you can't even think of good news. You, Chris, have made it sound like you are expecting to turn on the news to hear something bad.
Because something always is happening that's bad.
Because that's what sells.
But like what?
Okay, Chris, we've progressed for the last 100 years. How well? How great?
Amazingly.
And you don't think none of that can fit in the news that's happening as it happens. Only the bad.
Well,
Why is your brain so... I can see the smoke coming out.
I'm just like trying to think. How could you do the news?
It sounds like the only thing you know what is news is doom and gloom and things that go boom.
You know, I mean, when certain teams win the Super Bowl, that is good.
So I said sports was already something that could be still in this
Okay.
good news thing.
All right.
That, medical marvels.
I just like don't see how you can only do good news, because just say if you're going to talk about sports, then we're going to have to talk about those injuries. We're going to have to talk about those losses. If we're going to talk about the weather, we are going to have to talk about the times when we're having forest fires, when we have like, you know, you can't talk about the weather and not mention that, you know, you got haze. Like, you can't talk about scientific discoveries without also like, you know, attributing something else that's to it. So like, oh, I mean, you know, finding something that gets you closer to the cure of cancer is great, but you also are bringing up cancer facts and people are dying and stuff. So
I feel like you're making a very valid point.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like you're doing it in the pandering that the news should inherently be bad.
No.
How come there's not as much good news?
I'm not convincing.
How come there isn't as much? Most people who watch the news are... If I know that you watch the news more than like 7 hours a week, then I know almost off the bat, oh, you're an anxious person. You may be cool talking to me now.
I do watch that much.
You may be cool, you may be calm with me now, but I know you are inherently... There's this thing going on, bro. Like that constant wheel in your head.
There's always something.
There's something happening.
There's always that impending fear that shit may change abruptly. But I don't know why I felt that, because COVID was the closest thing to like change abruptly, and I felt like that change was almost like not that bad, but I also think it was because of the decisions that the government made. So there's, I don't know. I've never really thought about it this way, so I don't know how to like dictate my thoughts.
I mean, I feel like most people who are... I feel like if you found a controlled group, which is like, I don't know, people who watch the news probably once a week or something, that's your control group. And then you look at people who don't watch the news at all, and you look at people who watch the news more than 8 hours a day, or, you know, more than like 18 hours a week, you're going to see a massive difference in all those people's psychology.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely across the board.
Yeah.
Just from that.
But then again, there is like now there is a like moral justification to watch the news, because if you're not informed, then you are partaking in oppression of people.
I think that's what people push. Everyone's going to have their own perspective,
Yeah,
and that's going to be their version to say, oh, you just need to be educated on this topic because it either affects me or people that I know or or people that I care for.
Do you think that it should be everyone's responsibility, though, to like watch the news and be informed on everything? Because there are injustices that go on all the time, both around the world and, you know, in our government and even just locally. So, like, you know, you can make the argument that you do kind of have to be aware of some of the bad stuff that go on, because there's a lot of people's lives that are negatively affected, and that, like, knowing all of the bad stuff behind a lot of the things that's going on can help you make an informed decision when it comes to like going out or how you talk to people or how you vote.
The thing is it's only going to work if it's the individual's obligation, not their forced duty. If you're going to be like, that's you should be as an American knowing this, there's definitely going to be naturally oppression from that. You're going to tell me that I need to know what these corrupt assholes are doing. You know what I mean? There's going to be people justifying that. It has to come willingly, and it has to come through joint. Like, to have everyone be on the same board, and then have disagreement, and then have fights worth over it. Like, really, it should only go to the people who are sodding for it. I mean, yeah, it sucks that it's not that many people, but if the majority of people who are involved are people who sought for it, looked for it, dedicated to have more of a say, it'd probably be a more genuine environment that would attract more people who would be more on the fence. If everyone was involved, because you and I know there's a lot of shit, dumb people, there's always going to be that fraction. And if everyone's involved, then that means there's already going to be a big-ass chunk of people in there that has a shit opinion that's not valid or justified. And you just let them in because they're obligated in these people's eyes when they should work their way through. And if they do, then I think it's a little bit easier to filter feed these, you know, bad apples' opinions, which everyone should be able to have. But like, if it's a little bit more restricted, not restricted, but like just earned in a way, then people can kind of see each individual's like perspective come out a little bit more easily.
Yeah.
If everyone's opinion's already in there at the same time, then it's already a muddled piece of shit, because who are you to determine then to listen to it? I mean, if it's a unifyingly, agreeing opinion, that's why everyone says that, because everyone is expecting that wave to happen. What if this concept comes of like, oh yeah, this person did this and they need justice or whatever, and then all of a sudden 3 different stories come up and there's people saying, no, he kind of deserved it. And other people are saying, yes, he did, but not to this extent. And now there's all these different, you know what I mean? Like, it can get so gray so fast when so many people are involved. And people should get involved. I'm not saying people shouldn't. It's just, you should really only let those who are striving for it to be involved. If you just shove someone's nonchalant, dedicated ass into this environment, they're just gonna be like, yeah, that side, because fuck it. That's kind of probably why we're so dramatic in our opinions in a lot of things today. It's because we're kind of almost obliged to have this opinion onto it. And hopefully, like, you know, more people will eventually just start saying, like, honestly, I think more people should be admitted to say, I don't know. If more people were more confident and willing to say, I don't know, like, I think people are afraid to be called ignorant. And ignorant isn't necessarily a bad word. We're just turning it into one. Ignorant just means, like, do you know how to play Magic the Gathering?
No.
No, I don't either. I'm like completely ignorant to the concept.
I know what it is,
Yeah, I know what it is. It's a fantasy card game, like World of Warcraft turned into a card game or something that's grossly simplified. But as you could tell, I'm ignorant to the conversation, to that topic.
Yeah.
But there's some people out there who feel like getting called ignorant is like, oh man, no, I'm not ignorant. I just didn't know. Or,
but I think when it comes to like certain types of intense social stuff that's going on, I feel like, you know, being called ignorant about race relations in the country, I kind of feel like hits a lot harder than being ignorant because you don't know how to play Magic the Gathering.
No, but being called ignorant in a political argument has that effect more than saying I don't know the concept, I'm ignorant to it. If someone was having an argument on Facebook and they're just saying you're just being ignorant to the situation.
So in debate,
it's more of an attack than just a labeling.
But see, in the state of debate, so when people are debating, and a debate could mean you know nothing and I know you don't know, and I know a lot about something. And then if you say I don't know, and then I, in my head, have established the terms of winning this debate requires me to get you to agree with me rather than for us to see common ground and then split the difference. So then I'm going to get you to say that, yes, I agree, and that you are going to start believing in the things that I have to say. So in the field of debate,
entire concept does not exist on Twitter.
Yeah, of course it doesn't. But like, that's, I mean, it does exist.
See,
it does exist.
The thing is, this is how I tie in that point. Mm-hmm. Twitter is the thing that everyone uses.
Yeah.
That should be a prime example of showing like when you push everyone to go into something. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of people who are just, you're not going to change their mind. And it doesn't matter what logic you use or anything like that. It's just there's so many rocks in this river that you just can't move.
No.
Just because there's so many people who are set in mind and all that stuff. Like it's good to get everyone involved, but it's not wise to push it onto them. Because I think if you do, then they'll just pick a side and just go with it. Yeah. And there's no if, and, or buts about changing that opinion.
And then they're bad they're awful ambassadors of what they believe in.
I think it should be encouraged for sure, but not obliged. It's not like you as an American should have your opinion set on this or whatever. It's like you as an American should look into this, should whatever. But the beauty of it is you don't have to. But we are where we are because of it.
Yeah,
like that's a beautiful message to say in that in itself.
I think how people see it, though,
those who ignore it are those who, obviously don't have a say in how things change. And that will probably be for the better.
I think that's the way that we should look at it, and I think that that's the intention of how we should look at it. But right now, people believe that sort of thinking comes at the expense of another group of people, which is why they believe that you shouldn't be compliant over that type of thinking, because there is atrocities happening to a certain group of people. And that's just the belief. I'm not saying whether I do believe that or not. I'm just like speaking on neutral ground. That's what people believe in. So when people get mad at you because you don't agree with them, or that you're like, oh, I have no clue, it's because in their thoughts they think that your complacency in that situation is causing the plight of a group of people that just so happen to be categorically that group of people. So that the point I'm making, sorry to interrupt, like the point I'm making is like it's so hard to pick a side given that. Like it's been said multiple times throughout history that complacency over a certain issue that is causing a lot of misery for a group of people, and you just so happen to be on the side that isn't miserable, that may or may not use that as a means to get ahead, and so that's why it's so hard. It's so hard to like.
Well, it's gonna boil down to like, what do you as an individual believe in? If if you need to be persuaded by someone to have a belief into something, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But to be forcefully like guilt-ridden or something, then like, sure, you might develop a belief system in it, but it's not going to be pure. It's going to be radical. And that's why there's people who are radical.
Yeah.
People who...
A lot of people.
Yeah, there's people who fight for their opinion so strongly is because of that mindset. Like, compliancy should only be for those who have no fucking say in the matter. Like, you're completely removed. Like, you're absolutely not even part of the faction. If you know you can help, like, you see the problem, you know both sides.
You're aware of the problem.
You're aware and you're involved. Then I mean, like, you have little excuse of why not to be part of it. But if you're part of something in a completely different country, a completely different state, you're living a completely different life, you're not even involved with either side of the party of any, whatever, then it's up entirely to you to figure out if that's something to get involved in, because who are you to say that whatever choice you picked is justified? There's always going to be someone out there that's going to point out how your decision was wrong. Doesn't matter what it was. Yeah. So it should be up to you to figure that one out. But my main point is, anyone who's going to be pressured into it is going to be radicalized more than someone who's going to actually have a more, I guess, multi-layered thought. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of areas that definitely are simple, clear-cut. Oh, that was wrong. That shouldn't have happened. This should be fixed in this manner. And there's other things that are so gray, so diverse, so dynamic in their situation. So many players in the game. So many things that happened that caused this to happen because of this. It's like, you can't just tell someone, pick a side. Like, I gotta fucking research, I guess, if I really care. Otherwise, then you just have those just team A or team B. And that's why it's so many people. So, like, during every election year, you see so many people, woo! Or people who are like, yeah! And just like all that, right? And you ask them any topic, any subject, and all this stuff. And only probably a third of them are actually educated in there.
It's probably less.
Probably less that are actually educated in that field to be, answering questions enough to feel like, that they're really part of an opinion that matters or anything like that. Other than that, it's just like, all of my associates are for this team. I'm going for this team. And it's not the problem isn't that. The problem is, I don't fucking like your side because you're that side. If you don't know the full matter and you're arguing about it, then like you guys are arguing on incomplete ground or whatever. It's
you can't find common ground if you guys don't
even know the full subject, the content or full extent of the subject.
But that's how a lot of, like, you can, and this is both, like, at protests or gatherings or anything like that where there's a lot of one side, there's always that, like, those few comedians that will walk through the group and ask people questions, and nobody knows what they're fucking talking about. There's a lot of, like, liberal protests on college campuses that, like, protest against having conservative talk hosts come and speak on the school grounds. And they just, like, some people, like, literally just admit all they saw was a flyer, and it said that somebody who was racist and who was a bigot was just coming onto campus to talk about their views on stuff. And it doesn't even, or like they'll see a Ben Shapiro poster and they're like, I don't like that guy because of reasons. I just don't like that guy, so we're gonna protest him. And then, the people with mics come around. So what did he say in one of his videos that you disagree with? And I don't watch his videos. Well, then how are you protesting him speaking? Well, he's just said things in the past that I think is hazardous or toxic for it to be spoken here on this campus. Well, what was it? They can't name nothing. You know, they just don't like it when someone else speaks differently. And it's like they can't even, and there's probably some people that are smart enough at those functions to be like, well, you know, his views on this really don't align with this, and I think that that's encroaching on someone's like civil liberties and everything. Like there might be a couple of people that do that, but for the most part, it's just dumb people that don't know why they're there, that just feel better that they're there. They feel that they're standing up for something. And I feel like a lot of these people really have nothing going on in their life. They're broke. They're miserable. They feel like they're, you know, they've been slighted by society, by the government. They are aware that the government has the ability to do really toxic things and has done it before in the past. And going to these functions where they get to protest against somebody who not only says conservative values but also loves America and speaks on it so greatly, despite there being a bunch of bad stuff going on, although there is a lot of good stuff, which ties into what you were saying about the news always being bad stuff, because there's never any good stuff about America in the news, you know, because why even report it? It's not even news. So that's like, you know, you get these people that are, I feel like, have this weird way of looking at it, and I don't think they've ever experienced anything else. Like the good news that you're talking about, that existed at some point when people, you know, watched the news differently, but I feel like now the news is so fucking the news is awesome. I watch the news a lot, bro. The graphics are beautiful. 4K, I get to see protests and revolts in different countries in damn near 4K and a lot of video. And the video is like, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's hours and hours and hours of video that's happening, but these news segments, man, this fucking mortar's going off. Boom! And just like that for 3 seconds, and cut over to some guy. And then boom, cut to another person that's like, they're running. And then cut back to the news reporter. Shit's fucked out there. And that, dude, the news is so fucking awesome. And I hate to say the word awesome, but damn, it's just so visually stimulating. How could you not just get so emotionally invested in some of this shit, dude? You know, when you see George Floyd just getting the knee on the boot, even though, you know, they had history together, you know, George Floyd's done some fucked up shit.
I don't.
Hold on. Let me. I forgot his name. Officer is a fucking heinous person, and when you see that happening, and then people are just pissed, and that just like that means every story is linked to this one, and this is the racism that we're talking about in America. Even though it's not quite like the bullseye. It's still, but like it's the, you know, it's just the sensationalizing this news story is so, and it's just so fucking juicy, dude. It's so entertaining. I mean, like, fuck, dude, when you go watch fucking Avengers and you see fucking, you know, Captain America fucking grab the hammer and everyone's like, oh shit. You don't think that when you're watching the fucking news, you know, and you're crying at that movie because you saw 12 other movies, and now, dude, you've been growing up watching TV for fucking 2 decades, and you've been watching the news all the time, and you see someone get fucking cut the fuck down, and all the pieces fucking fit, and now you're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking do something about it. Like, dude, the news is just fucking dope.
I think you are a clear example of what my point was going to be. And that is the difference between someone who watches the news briefly and someone who puts time.
Consumes it, dude.
You were just showing me how emotionally not saying that like people shouldn't or whatever, but you were just saying that in general with news. People who get emotionally invested in news gets intense. People should just be watching news.
Just like sports, though. Dude, if you watch sports every week when it's on for a year, and then your team makes it to the playoffs, and you're like, oh gosh, we're pretty fucking close. And your team wins another playoff game. Oh, fuck. And this has happened to me multiple times. My team has gone to the Super Bowl multiple times. And we've also lost a Super Bowl too. So we've gone all the way and lost it. And I've acted like a fucking monkey. No! Or like, go, go, go. And you're like super fucking, you get invested into that shit. You can't, like, I've been watching One Piece, I've been watching that's 800 episodes, 900 episodes.
Jesus Christ.
And dude, sometimes when you're watching that shit, I've been watching that shit for years. I cry at some of the moments, because I'm so invested. And it's like, it's so hard to not be so invested in like the news, because you watch it so much, you hear about it, your friends talk about it. Sometimes it talks about your identity, and that's something that you're really attached to. And then for some people, they see it and, it talks about how great this country is and how people are trying to ruin it. And then, like, the other side of it is people talk about how great it is, but it's really shitty. And it's so easy to pick a side and just identify to something, just like a football team. It's just it's so easy to identify as like a specific color, and you hope your team wins the Super Bowl.
Thing is, it's easy to do that, but it shouldn't be that simple. With sports is, I like this team because they're from here. They're this color. They got this mascot. It's not, they did this. They're going for this.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But that's the thing I'm trying to say. People get emotionally invested. You can get emotionally invested in your sports. You can be like, I like that team a lot. But when you start getting emotionally invested in something, you start making it more personal. And everyone is selfish inherently. So that means that at some point, you can only guarantee that the opinions of people are going to be at a selfish standpoint. And in order for things to be fixed, you shouldn't be thinking selfishly. I mean, not for all topics. I just think when you're emotionally invested in something that matters, like something that's important, it's a very finicky thing. Like, not saying you can't or shouldn't get emotionally invested into something, but like, look at all these people who are protesting, counter-protesting, protesting the counter-protesting, all this violence through just domestic disputes.
I don't even really think.
I feel like more Americans have hurt themselves than through through foreign affairs.
I don't really think that these protests are actually that incredibly violent. I mean, like, again, we're watching the news, dude. People are like, I saw a news
going to Seattle. And
I saw a video on Facebook. Within the first 1 second, people were shouting like I don't see people get this angry at the grocery store shouting. Okay. And then like within 8 seconds, some lady gets hit with a fucking with a beanbag launcher, and then she just fucking and goes down. Dude, how do you not watch that and think, oh fuck, that's happening? That's what's going on, like that. It's the same cutoff of like all of this shit. Like someone threw a rock through a window, and then
there's a difference between so like this has been going on for already a while. We both know this. I've known this, but I don't watch the news all the time. I just, anytime the news turns on, you'll see it and you're like, oh, that's happening. But then if you're like,
oh, we ran out of battery.
Damn. Just like that.
Just like that.
That's it.
Well, I mean, we're still recording audio.
What's the point?
What's the point, dog? If they can't look at your ugly ass face, what's the point?
I wish they couldn't from the beginning.
You should just wear a mask now.
I have horrible insecurity issues.
Well, no.
That's it.
I guess the rest of your opinion does not fucking matter to the camera.
No.
Camera didn't give a shit, dude. It was like, you know what?
Turned off.
Guy, I liked all the things that Chris was saying. You, on the other hand, I'm going to take a rest. What if I started making another really good point and then the camera turned the fuck back on?
I'd go turn it back off.
Fuck you, camera.
I'd be like, that doesn't mean you have the ultimate opinion that's right or wrong.
You're just a robot, you bitch.
You're just sentient right now, I guess, and you're just wrong.
See, now the robots can fucking take over cameras. I'll just shut off. They'll censor us. Like, whoa, this guy's talking about Project Veritas. Okay, we're going to turn this shit off. They'll do that shit.
There's this website that I remember seeing that I don't know where you'd go, but like they would show you different CCTV cameras and you can control them.
What? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. Like my friend Anthony, way back in high school, he showed me this.
That's so fucking weird.
Like he showed me a couple different cameras. Like, yeah, look, we're in some mall somewhere. I'm like, what? And he's like, here, watch. And he pressed the arrow keys. And he started controlling it. And I was like,
that's so fucking wild.
that was 10, 15 years ago.
Damn.
So if someone learns how to use a certain hacking camera, they can hack cameras.
Dude, I'm sure you can hack anything. You can hack anything. You can hack a calculator and make it curve.
There was once this kid who actually was learning how to change train tracks with his remote control, his TV remote.
Train tracks? Like real train tracks? Oh. That's fucking wild. Fuck them kids, bro. Fuck them kids.
And that's it. That's how we'll end it. Fuck those kids.
Yeah, man. Let's fuck. Do you want to end it on that? Fuck them kids?
Well, fuck.
All right, man. Well, fuck them kids.